Hello and welcome back to episode 14 of Rocket Rabbit Commentaries campaign of Earth Defense Force 2017 on Xbox 360. You're welcome to bring a buddy. You're also welcome to have a ball all on your own with your AI buddies who say stupid things at really loud volume. This part, we're checking out the bound gun and see what this bounder of a weapon.
It's a ricochet bullet spreader. Okay.
It's bounding off the walls.
Each team will take a different route to exterminate all giant bugs you encounter along the way.
No kidding.
Select a difficulty. Initiating operations.
You're welcome to try these bug-related missions on higher difficulties. High risk means high reward, and you got lots and lots of health there, soldier.
So I am interested that our sniper rifle is actually a 3-round burst, but it's also a 7-round magazine.
Let's see. Oh, it is bouncy party.
Why did they do that to us, Mr. Cloud?
So you gotta be really careful with your last shot. What I like about a sniper rifle with burst fire is all you have to do is select your target, and then you hit it not just once but 3 times as long as you're still on the target.
Yes,
which it
most
should do.
That is an absolutely massive steroid for any sniper rifle. Why is its clip size not divisible by 3?
So that you only so that the final round of the clip is not actually a burst; it's just a single shot.
But that's a problem because that means it's only doing 1/3 of the damage that it's supposed to. In this game, it's not necessarily that big of a deal because the majority of your foes are only going to take a single sniper round in order to take down. But in either higher difficulty settings or slightly more real or slightly more challenging scenarios, the 3 individual rounds of that sniper rifle would, it's just significantly better to have your weapon be at constant damage peak as opposed to, having variable damage towards the end of its clip.
It does create a bit of a game inside just approaching and coordinating oneself in these shooting galleries in Earth Defense Force. Is now the game has become how best to use my weapon. Because not all weapons were created equal. Actually, I think the bound gun at this point is a terrible weapon to bring into the descent missions because it ricochets and because these ricocheted shots will hit your teammates.
Okay, but the terrible thing about that, Mr. Cloud, is that the actual issue is the size of these tunnels. Like, if this were more claustrophobic, more narrow, the bound gun would be fucking amazing here. But the thing is,
right here.
Yeah, like right this. If we had half as much a hallway space here, we could actually just lure these guys into a killing field and just empty our bound gun repeatedly into them. But because of how much open space that we've got, the bound gun just doesn't do what it's actually supposed to do. It's supposed to ricochet off these walls effectively endlessly, or until kinetic energy runs out for it. And unfortunately, with this much space, it's going to run out of kinetic energy very quickly.
Yeah, it's well, I suppose the alternate would be the bound gun. Ricochet projectiles would be bouncing off of city buildings and bridges.
You wouldn't want to use this in a city setup though, especially because all of the buildings that we have seen all have the ability to be destroyed. So what would end up happening is the bound gun would start firing at a building, do enough damage to explode the building, and then the rest of its ammo is just totally wasted.
Well, let me stop you there. That the bound gun is not going to take down a building. You cannot take down structures with ballistic weapons.
That's weird because you can take down the giant robots with ballistic weapons.
Well, that's because the robots are not structures; they're enemies.
Yet we're fighting slightly higher tech aliens than what we normally encounter on Earth. So why is it that our assault rifle is able to take down the giant robots, but not the structural buildings?
Because Tom Hanks can take down a Panzer-style tank in World War II setting with a fucking pistol, is my answer to that question.
Hey, Solid Snake did it, except he did it with a grenade.
Snake Eater.
Yes, the remake for Snake Eater got announced. I can't play Snake Eater, oddly enough, because like the first 10 minutes of Snake Eater is all this really relatively interesting spy setup, and then they plop you into the middle of the jungle and say, "Okay, go to the spot," and then I get ate by a crocodile. Your teammate just hit you with a rocket launcher.
Yeah, and it didn't even inflict any damage, too. Huh. Well, I see now that I'm on the other side of that kind of friendly fire. I'm going to seriously consider being more careful around you guys. Because, come to find out, 25 missions into the game, it really doesn't make a difference whether you kill your guys, or you leave your guys alone, or you have help for them, or you don't get help from them. Just kill the bugs. It's a really simple game. It's just part of what I love about this game is its sheer adherence to simplicity. Keep it simple, silly. It's the KISS method of putting a game together. You know, there's no defend the president missions. There's no, stop them from toppling over the enemy base or taking out the weapon stockpile. It's just, they're the enemies. Go kill them. Yes, sir, yes, sir, is my answer. Well, yeah, that's why we're not in a city environment or a beach or a countryside all the time. Now we're in generic ant colony. Ant tunnels. Ant funnel.
Thankfully, we're never going to find an ant funnel.
Darn, I like the funnel. I think there's a spawning hole involved in this mission. That's why these guys have already exhausted my entire squad. And there's a fucking lot of these guys too right now also. Well, now that I don't have any other friendly targets that I can unfortunately hit, now the bound gun is optimally useful in this situation.
Not really. Again, the hallways are still too wide. Like when I think of the style of weapon that the bound gun is attempting to emulate, I always end up thinking of the grenade launchers from Quake. So where you would fire a grenade, it would still be on a timed fuse, and by bouncing it off the wall, you could get some pretty significant area damage against heavier targets or groups of smaller enemies. But here, because we're still actually using a kinetic / ballistic style weapon, bouncing it off the walls, although it's definitely supposed to work, our spread fire is a combination of too far, and our environment is not narrow enough for it to actually funnel directly into our enemies.
Well, it's far from being a perfect weapon, and I'm happy to have your critique on how the bound gun has been functioning. If you want to challenge yourself to completing missions by using weapons that leave much to be desired, like, for example, a 3-round burst fire that inevitably begs the question, why does it only leave one bullet in a clip on a fired shot if it's supposed to be a 3-round burst?
Like, that's the only issue that I've got with our sniper so far. If it actually had 9 rounds, it would be an amazing weapon, especially because it probably actually has a punching power in it as well. Like penetrating power? That is what I was supposed to say, but how I usually refer to it in gun games is punching power.
So the only source of punching power you can enjoy in the Earth Defense Force would be guns that are explosive type or a flamethrower. That's it.
Yeah.
if you're really dead set on spreading damage around.
Or rather through enemies.
So Quake is a game where it's more on the vein of survival than this game, because you don't get to go back to a re-equip and redeploy segment. You get increasingly more powerful weapons as you advance through the story. You get ammo from these weapons by fixed ammo drops in the environment, and there's a finite number of them. Versus this game, where not only do you get infinite ammo, you have a chance to change your weapons every time. Is also, each of these games also is different than like Time Splitters, where you can go into preset situations with AI, or you got to hit targets in the environment where you have to use the weapons that they give you.
We got a burst volcano launcher, Mr. Cloud, and a cascade rocket launcher. Ooh.
Krakatoa! And in the next part, we are going to the third descent mission, because there's more than just two. And always remember, save your game often, soldier.